The time is just gone 9:39 a.m. and we continue this morning. We'll be joined now by Dr. Mohammed Adam, director at ITV. Now, yesterday you will recall there was picket action, there was protest action, and that the Communication Workers Union, there was a memorandum. They made various demands to ITV Networks, and also at the same time directly calling for the removal of Dr. Mohammed Adam from all structures of ITV Networks with immediate effect. And since then, we've also learned and we've also seen a response, and also talking about the intention of the CWU to engage in picketing action. And there have been a number of matters that have been referred to the CCMA and the like. And in all fairness, Salam Media obviously covered this picket yesterday, but we need to give the right of reply, and we are joined on the line right now. And this interview is going live on our Facebook and YouTube channels. We're joined now by Dr. Mohammed Adam. Dr. Adam, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As always, welcome and wonderful seeing you after such a long time.
Alhamdulillah, it's a pleasure to be here. I don't like to be on this side of the camera. I was having a problem with my lighting. You saw it was looking quite unprofessional. I had this little lamps there, but I'm not set up to be in a studio to be in front of the camera. But that's fine. On this occasion, I felt the need that I must utilize my right of reply.
Yes. Now, yesterday we've seen this picket action obviously take place with ITV. There are a number of issues that were raised, particularly with regard to salary payments, many other issues with regard to things like SARS. Now, I know that there has been a build-up to what has taken place yesterday. It's not something that had just taken place yesterday, but there has been a build-up. And there have been a number of issues that have been playing out in the background, Dr. Adam, as far as ITV goes.
Okay, sorry, I just need to correct something right in your introduction. You said I'm a director of ITV. I'm not a director of ITV Networks. I'm acting in the capacity of Office of CEO. So I just needed to clarify so that the information is accurate. You asked the question, and sorry, you'll have to just ask me one question at a time. You said, what background activities do you want me to go about on the background, or do you want me to respond on?
Yes, just looking at some of the background that has resulted in the build-up to the picket and the action that had taken place yesterday.
So ask me a specific question so I can answer. So tell me what background you're talking about.
Yes, well, specifically, we know about there have been issues with regard to the CCMA, and we know at this point in time that certain things obviously are sub judice, because it's lying with the CCMA. What are some of the gripes that employees have as far as ITV goes?
All right, there's actually quite a few from time to time. It's normal that people have a right, and they've referred issues of late payment to the CCMA. So, for example, if you don't pay by the 25th of the month, which is normal, then a person can refer that to the CCMA, which they're fully entitled to. So that has been happening. But in broadly, what I'm going to do is the following: is to say. I've shared this link, in fact, with our staff as well, so the staff can watch it. I believe in the principle of transparency. So yesterday, let me tell you the sequence of events, what happened that led up to yesterday's incident. The staff, the Communication Workers Union sent out a public statement or a statement in the media without us having seen that. So they went straight to, initially, they apparently referred a matter for their organizational rights to CCMA, which they're fully entitled to. We don't have a problem with that. We welcome organizations having organizational rights. Now, after they refer that and it's sitting with the CCMA, then without explanation, then they issue a public statement. So, that, in my opinion, is not a correct sequence of events and doesn't show good faith, and it's not good for a cooperation between the parties. So basically, we saw a communication from Communication Workers Union, not addressed to us, but it was already in the public domain. On Saturday, around about 4 or 5 o'clock, we saw in social groups that they're using social media to communicate with us. I mean, that's not the standard procedure. How do if you want the employer organization to engage with you in the correct protocol, then communicate through proper channels. That means write an email to us, wait for the response. Don't do it over a weekend and directly in social media. That already speaks to malafide as far as I'm concerned, right? So we did raise that as a grievance when we had yesterday, or as a point of criticism to Communication Workers Unit. But in the same breath, I must say that the meeting yesterday with the Communication Workers Union and the staff, which started at about 6 o'clock. I was running a bit late. It was supposed to start at 5 o'clock. I was caught up in traffic. They wanted somebody senior to receive what they called was a list of demands. So it was another thing again, which I'm saying procedure is incorrect, because if you're calling me to hand over to me the list of demands, then none of the staff want to receive the list of demands, obviously, because the list of demands is from the staff side. So the staff were obviously not in a position to list of demands. Security, how do we just get somebody in security to sign a piece of paper and he doesn't even know what he's signing and what the document says, because there's legal implication to receiving a document. So then I agreed with the Commercial Workers Union. I said, they said, look, this matter is very urgent. Will you clear your diary and will you make yourself available? I said, yes, it's correct. I'll clear my diary. And what time is the Communication Workers Union available? They said 6 o'clock. I said, that's fine. I'll be available at 6 o'clock. Then about 5 minutes later, they said, let's make it 5 o'clock. So I said, and this was around, I'm not sure, 1 or 2 o'clock or whatever. It was a recorded Zoom meeting. So whatever I'm saying, I would have backup recorded Zoom meetings so nobody can misquote one another. I prefer things on a recorded basis. So when I participate in any negotiations on business, or even with the union or any of the staff, we don't want a situation where one person can misquote the other. We have recordings for everything, and we have a paper trail for everything. So that's always good. I found in my history of good corporate governance and just what we do within the group of companies. We like to have a paper trail of everything so that it can be a long paper trail, and with Zoom meetings, you need to use technology to ensure it's transcribed. So to cut a long story short, that I cleared my diary for the afternoon. It was inconvenient, but it was important. This is very important. So I was there at the meeting in the boardroom, and my preconditions I set for the meeting was the following. I said, what is the purpose of the meeting? No, we only want you for one thing. I said, what is that? That you must receive the memorandum. I said, that's fine. I said, how long will that take? They said, it shouldn't take more than 10 or 15 minutes. We need to, I said, what about safety and security issues? Don't worry. The union is there. We can guarantee you it will be non-violent. There'll be no, we as an organization, Commercial Workers Unions, are affiliated with COSATU, which is one of the biggest trade unions in South Africa. And you can be rest assured that your safety is not under threat. I say, okay, that's fine. I take your word for it. Members of my board were very concerned. They said, you're going there, are you going with security? I said, no, I've spoken to the company secretary on site, and it should be fine. I leave it in Allah's hands. I'm feeling comfortable talking to the people. When I greeted the person, he was taken aback. When the trade union person said, hello, how are you? I said, I told him revolutionary greetings. So, so he was surprised. I said, look, normally I'm on the picketing side. I'm not on the side, on the corporate side. So he wasn't sure how to take it, but we had a good discussion for about 5 minutes. I said, you know what, I need to talk to you guys, COSATU and your union on another date, but we can talk about issues, the global issues, and especially issues in South Africa relating to poverty, inequality, unemployment, and let's have a discussion. Yes. So we were on the same page on that. He said, you know what you're saying talks to what we have. And I said, I've got solutions that COSATU we can partner with you and we can discuss with you. So we were, it was like comrades talking to one another, and he was calling me
Dr. Adam, can I just, obviously we have got limited time as far as the interview is concerned, and there's a number of issues that I obviously would like to cover. Okay. Now, it does appear that one of the demands is directly at you, calling for your removal as CEO. There have been certain demands made with regard to talking about the Adam family as well. So it does appear that there are personal issues that are directed to you through this communication by the CWU.
Yeah, that's correct. Anybody can ask for anybody's removal. But I mean, this organization when we're talking about ITV Networks, is part of it's not a work of itself, it's a Section 21 company. And let me just clarify, you've got a network of organizations in a complicated organigram that will take another meeting on its own. But basically, anybody has the right to say, okay, we're demanding a removal. I can come to you and say, but is that right? And can you go on a concerted smear campaign? If you have voting rights in an organization, yes, you can pass a vote of no confidence in the president of the country. But nobody passes a vote of no confidence in people without evidence and without a reason for that. Don't start just one morning because you have a gripe on salary issues and then go on a concerted smear campaign against a person. So in my opinion, what is happening is a concerted smear campaign. And that's why I've decided to, in a sense, inverted commas, break the silence, because this smear campaign hasn't started today. It started about a year ago. There's an agenda, and I'm putting it in black and white, and I'm going to talk to that agenda of trying to gain control of ITV by demonizing the Adam family. And now that it's out in the open that there is, and I'm saying it categorically, and I've signed sworn affidavits to that there's an agenda to take control by removing the Adam family. And it's not new that this agenda is. There's groups of very powerful people, wealthy people, but I would say misinformed people and people who've gotten away with it. What they do is they see an organization that's successful. Okay, let's get rid of the founders and we'll take it over because this is a good strategic, inverted commas, asset to have. The 20-year organization. To start a TV station today will cost 300 to 500 million rand. Let's just make Adam look bad. Let's make the Adam family look bad. And then we get rid of them. We put it in the so-called public domain. We get new board members, get rid of the main obstacle to our control of the organization, get rid of the main obstacle, and then you can basically steal the organization, take it for free. So that's what the agenda is and what the situation is.
Yes. Now, we've seen a number of posters yesterday and banners, and that the picketers were displaying yesterday, and talking about 1 million rand equipment and software that was not received by technical staff. And there appears to be a number of money issues that they have been raising, to the extent talking about funds being moved around, and SARS is involved, and PAYE, IRP5s, and the like as well. Now, that seems to have been the main messages come through by these placards that were being displayed, Dr. Adam.
Yeah, so it's very simple. What I would suggest is that I challenge the people to make it specific, write a sworn affidavit and sign your name to it. Don't just come with a placard. I can't do anything when you come with a placard. Whatever allegations you have, if you're saying 1 million rand, you're saying SARS or whatever, go to the police station, put a sworn affidavit, or go to the court of law and put a sworn affidavit, say ABC, 1 million rand, what is your gripe? 1 million rand, you think it's stolen? So write down, I hereby suspect, or I think, or know, whatever. You need to provide evidence. Nobody can just come with an allegation and come and placards and sing and dance in the streets and expect that on that basis they're going to remove me as a CEO. And I'm going to just tell you this: we never wanted to be in the public domain. We did not ever want that the public must ever know that the Adam family has created ITV. But now that they want to try to remove the Adam family and try to demonize us, I have no choice. So now, when I'm defending it, I'm defending my reputation, which I have to do. I have to defend the legacy of the family, which I have to do. So, in a sense, one of my daughters told me 2 weeks ago, whatever, Daddy, why don't you write your autobiography? I said, I don't want to write my autobiography. I don't regard myself as a success or whatever. But I then realized why she wanted for me to divert my attention to it, because I'm planning to do various books. So then I realized that my children are silent. My family are silent. They need the air to be cleared. They need me to defend in public all of these smear campaigns that are going out there. So I decided now, last night or day before yesterday, when somebody attacks you like this, and it's interesting, I see the messages on ITV in a sense of giving me hope, and my life has been one of that I feel angels protect me every step of the way. When you're truthful, then things will unravel as per Allah's plan. So I'm seeing this as a wonderful opportunity. I'm challenging the people who were there, the placards, who were there with those placards. Whatever they said on that video, I haven't even had a chance to read it because, there's not enough time. So much things are happening. So I challenge every single person, every single placard. Write down whatever you want and why your reasons are for my removal. Put it in the public domain, sign a sworn affidavit, and then I'll respond to your signed affidavits. But don't come with unsubstantiated allegations. If you're saying the million rand, whatever you're saying, there's million rand. They said the technical team didn't analyze it. Can I tell you something? Our technical team has not got the capability to analyze it. They don't have the mental capacity to analyze what million rand I spent on. They are totally clueless about the assessment of that. And I can challenge that technical team to have a separate 1 hour debate about how little they know about the technical aspects. I know 100 times more about the technology of digital transformation than my entire team that's working at ITV. And that's a challenge. I can prove to you that whatever investment I've done for R1 million, and R1 million has been invested, which is duly approved by the board, but I challenge that technical team, the entire, because that's one of the main issues they're saying. They said, they're not saying R1 million is stolen. They said Dr. Adam invested R1 million, but Derek is the head of the technical team. He's complaining that I did not get a chance to assess the capability of the technical team. I will tell him with all due respect, he's talking nonsense. I know 100 times more about digital technology and the tools out there than probably 99.9% of South Africans. I know more about digital transformation tools, and I've studied more about it in the past 20 years, and I know more knowledge about what can be done to digitally transform ITV to take it to the next era than my entire team. My entire team has not given me one suggestion in 2 years or 5 years. Not one suggestion. I challenge them to say, what have they said in writing over the past 5 years to make ITV ready for the digital transformation? The digital transformation, the media, I tell them to read things. Then they say, but you're treating us like school children. I
Yes,
say, but you
Dr.
don't
Adam, sorry, Marv, can I just stop you there? Obviously, we've got about 5 minutes, we've got about 4 minutes. And I think
yeah.
one of the key issues here is looking at ITV. Where is ITV at this point in time? And particularly looking at, what it actually provides to the viewers, looking at content in particular. Now, we've seen one of your senior managers, Mahmoud Abu Zaid, mentioning yesterday the picket, saying that ever since you took over, the staff has been reduced quite sizably from 60 to 20 with no quality content, and the station has become mediocre. And these are now some of the claims that are being made by a senior manager.
Okay. I'm so happy that you raised this question. That I wouldn't have wanted to mention a name of a person, but it's better that I respond to one at a time, right? So you quoted numbers. You said that since I took over, the staff complement has been reduced from 40 to 60. That is
From 60
false.
to 20.
Oh,
That
sorry.
is what was mentioned yesterday. I'm just quoting as well.
Yeah. Okay. So let me answer that specific allegation. Let's not talk about generalized. You gave me a specific number. Mahmoud Abu Zaid said that since I took over. Now, when you say since I took over, you know what I've realized in my 10 years? I've had extensive experience in litigation. So when I talk on the basis that I'm on a witness stand and that I'm under cross-examination, and that in any case as Muslims, we talk on the basis that you have a recorder on your right-hand shoulder and one on the left-hand shoulder. Even if it's not recorded, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the angels record every single thing, right? So you've quoted Mahmoud Abu Zaid. I think he should be there to reply to that, but I'm going to give you my response to that. It is false that I caused the reduction from 60 to 20. I have not been involved. I want to do a retrenchment process. Yes, I'm not denying that. But the whatever retrenchments have taken place so far have been done by Mahmoud Abu Zaid on his own. And it's gross negligence the way he did the retrenchment process. I'll give you an example. When we went into COVID-19 in March 2020, he immediately went and he retrenched 3 of the producers. We have 4 producers. The head of the producers is Zaid Mohammed, and 3 other producers, I don't know the name because I wasn't involved at the micro level or day-to-day management at that level. Mahmoud was grossly mismanaged because he reduced the 3 producers. Now, if you have no producers, and then by December he fired Zaid Mohammed for whatever reason, because he felt that Zaid Mohammed was challenging him, he wanted to become a station manager or whatever. So Mahmoud Abu Zaid fired Zaid in December 2020, and the record will prove to that. And he retrenched the 3 staff that were producers. Then what he did is, we had 60,000 a month. We had in the budget for voluntary presenters who would come on an ad hoc basis. He suspended all of the voluntary production. So he said, I'm saving 67,000 rand by doing that. He went to Durban in 2 days' time. He did a retrenchment of the whole of the Durban office, and he closed on Durban office. How do you do retrenchment in 2 days' time? Is ITV an organization that can do retrenchment in 2 days? Will you bring in a retrenchment expert, and then he paid out 950,000 in retrenchment packages without? I think I'm not sure how it was done, but I think the feedback I got from Yusuf Ismail, you can talk to him. Yusuf Ismail in Durban is a well-known person. He's a presenter of I Beg to Differ. He told me that what Mahmoud has done in Durban is very wrong. And I agree with him, because you don't retrench people in a 2-day or a 30-day cycle. So essentially what Mahmoud has done, all the retrenchments that have taken place are under Mahmoud's control, because he was head of PR and he was head of sales. So during 2020, every single retrenchment that has taken place, in December, there was a 50% reduction in hours, and January 50% reduction in hours. Who was representing the organization in that December-January negotiation? Mahmoud Abu Zaid, who was in charge of the HR process. So if he says, now he must show me one person I've retrenched, one person I've fired in this process. Yes, I want to start the retrenchment process, but I've allowed it to drag on for 1 year because I'm looking for alternative to retrenchment. But what the staff are doing, they want to go slow. Since September last year, their answer to my wanting to retrench them is to go on a go slow. So initially, Mahmoud was public enemy number one because he was doing the retrenchments. He decided, you know what, I don't want to be public enemy number one. Let Dr. Adam be the public enemy number one. So he then shifts the blame to retrenchment to me. I said, yes, if that's my responsibility as CEO, I'll handle the retrenchment, but I'll do it in a humane manner. I have not retrenched one person yet, and I do want to do retrenchment because what choice have I got? For 12 months, my staff are on a go slow. Which organization in South Africa is as patient as me? I challenge my staff to say, if you want to go slow for 12 months, you don't recognize me as a CEO. You don't recognize the company. You think that you are the owner of the Waqf. Which organization in South Africa is as patient as me to wait 1 year and not even still do the retrenchment? Which organization is as patient as me to spend 6 hours nonstop with the union? Which organization or which employer is as patient as me to agree to meet with the union nonstop for 8 hours a day until the matter of salaries and all these issues are addressed? You tell me, show me one organization that's more patient, and then you can ask me if you want to remove me or not.
Yes, and I see where you're coming from, Dr. Adam, where, for a long time you've been far removed from the day-to-day running and the operations, and which is exactly what you are telling me. Would that be one of the issues with regard to the grievances of staff in terms of not getting paid for some time, something that they get paid in bits and pieces?
No, there's two separate questions. Just unpack your questions. You're confusing the question. You're saying you're not involved in day-to-day running, and then you're saying, would that be involved
Well,
with the
that is
staff?
what you said. That is what you said earlier. So
No,
what
I
I'm
didn't say,
saying is,
don't misquote me. Let me tell you exactly what I said, right? I'm giving you a background of my philosophy. Don't misquote me and just take an individual sentence. Break up your sentence. Can you rephrase?
Right. Let me just come back to this.
Yeah.
Obviously, what you mentioned with
Sorry,
regard to,
your first part of your question is that are you involved or not, or do you know day-to-day aspects
well,
of
that
the
is what I
company?
gathered from your previous response, saying that Mahmoud Abu Zaid obviously has been involved extensively in the issues as far as staff is concerned, in terms of retrenchments and the like as well, which is what obviously you had said. Okay. Now
Yeah.
the key
Okay, but
question here
let's
is,
pause. Okay, let me tell you what I said. I said I was answering your question. Your question was that you have caused, since you took over, that's what Mahmoud said, that I reduced
yes,
staff from 50 to 20. I said that is false. I'm saying it categorically, it's false. Then I just gave you details to prove that it's false. It's not my duty to prove that it's false. The proof, the person who makes the allegation, is the duty is on him. But I'm going further beyond and above my responsibility. Somebody makes a false statement, I just have to say it's false. But I'm not
no,
saying that.
exactly. I take your point. I take your point, Dr. Adam, on that
But,
matter.
but then you're saying I'm not involved in day-to-day management. That's wrong. I
No, no,
know.
no. I'm saying, is there a link? Is there a link between Mahmoud, obviously all the control that Mahmoud had with regards to the staff complaining that they have not been paid for quite some time, to the extent that some of them are saying that they get paid in bits and pieces? Whose responsibility would that be? Would that be your responsibility, or would that have been Mahmoud Abu Zaid's responsibility?
Well, Mahmoud Abu Zaid is responsible. The responsibilities are two, and that has been his responsibilities for the past 5 or 10 years, right? He was reporting to the previous CEO, which is Farad Umar. His responsibility is sales and to ensure the sales targets are met. What he decided to do was to steal the organization, simple as that, and he went on a go slow, trying to only bring in money in drips and drabs so that only salaries can be paid. Which organization can work on the basis that you only bring in money and at the 11th hour so that drips and drabs salaries can be paid? He's in control of the cash flow of the organization as a salesperson. He refuses to account for who our contracts, our primary source documents are. He's on a go slow trying to force the organization for the cash flow to be a problem. From day one, we've given him numerous warnings that Mahmoud, you're on a go slow, and he cannot challenge it. I challenge him to a debate on any of these questions. He will not accept the debate because the terms of the debate would be that whatever allegations you make, you first put a sworn affidavit and you put your evidence. Don't just come with any wild allegations. So any link that you're purportedly claiming to say that there's a link, I need to know where does your question derive from, because we must work on a factual basis. So if I have to answer it, the cause of the slow salary payments, if I have to answer it in one sentence, Mahmoud Abu Zaid is the cause of that. He's doing the deliberate go slow on the sales and using it to control the cash flow of the organization with a view to then controlling the organization. That's the summary of it. I can stand by it and I can have an entire debate and I can provide you evidence to show that Mahmoud Abu Zaid is the greatest enemy of that ITV has ever come across. He's a dishonest man, I'm telling you categorically. His dishonesties has led to misappropriation or fraudulent removal of 6 million rand of funds. And basically, I'll tell you quickly how that comes, because he was being paid on the basis, there was no signed contract, but we said he will get 15% on his sales, based on there being a restraint of trade. So half of that 15% is based on the premise of restraint of trade, and half is on his commissions. Every single person in top management, including Farad Umar, have got a restraint clause. Mahmoud Abu Zaid accepted the restraint clause on 15%. So we paid him on the basis of 15%. He must have received 300,000 a month for the past 5 years, except after COVID-19. Imagine one person getting 300,000 per month and Farad Umar earning 300,000 per month. So 600,000 per month is the overall salaries that these two individuals get. Nothing wrong with it. If they're performing, that's fine, right? Now you say 600,000 goes to these two individuals per month. Then the rest of the staff complement to ITV is 600,000, so it's 1.2 million. Then you say, okay, you add on the other costs, rental and various other costs, direct costs, you then come to about 1.5, 1.6 million. At 1.6 million per month, our running costs, we're breaking even. Then we find out when there's a forensic investigation done that Farad Umar had defrauded the organization of 7.5 million rand. And I'll provide a copy of that forensic investigation to you. He has never denied it because he can't deny it. So if you're asking me for specifics, I'm going to give it to you. Then during last year, Mahmoud Abu Zaid said that Maulana Raghi said that a restraint of trade in Islam is haram. So he wants to give. So he was quoting Maulana Raghi. Now Maulana Raghi was a former board member who also was involved in with Farad to try to take over control of ITV. So how does Maulana Raghi have the right to interfere and say that a restraint of trade is haram? Can I tell you why he can't interfere? You can have that opinion and issue a separate fatwa. But 5 years ago, when the negotiation was done between myself and Farad Umar on the contract for restraint of trade, you know who was the person who mediated that settlement? And I'm eternally grateful to him? Maulana Raghi. Maulana Raghi made sure that me and Farad Umar reached a settlement because prior to that, Farad Umar didn't have a restraint and he wanted to steal the contract from DSTV. So I said, I'm not willing to work with Farad Umar unless I've got a restraint trade because there's an agenda for Farad Umar to try to steal the organization. So I said, a restraint will protect me. And in all my other companies, we have a restraint. So the witness in that agreement is Maulana Raghi. So 5 years later, Maulana Raghi now turns around 180 degrees and he must explain himself. I'm challenging him also to a debate and Farad Umar also to a debate. Let's get everything out in the open. So we then say that the restraint of trade suddenly now in 2020, in my replying affidavit to the Raghi matter, I say that that I'm issuing to talk about restraint of trade. Now, you know what Mahmoud does when he sees about the restraint of trade? He says, you know what, I've changed my opinion. The person who I respect is my ustad, or the ulama is Maulana Ragi. He's told me that a restraint is haram. I said, okay, Mahmoud, that's your constitutional right if you say restraint is haram. But now what do we do about the situation that we've been paying you restraint for 5 years, then pay us back if you're saying it's haram? Because we paid you on 15%. Had we known that you're regarding it as haram, or now you've changed your akida now, and now you regard it as haram, then tell us what it is, then pay us back 6 million rand that you've received for restraint payments, because you're not willing to abide and honor the restraint. And I said, give me a copy of the fatwa that Maulana Ragi gave you. He wasn't willing to give me. Then he changes his story, and I got a paper trail to it. He says, no, somebody in Egypt gave me a fatwa. I said, who in Egypt gave you a fatwa, and why should I agree to listen? But I said, I don't have a problem. If somebody in Egypt gave you a fatwa, it doesn't affect South African law. In any case, our legal system is different. The Islamic Sharia law of Egypt doesn't apply necessarily. But do me a favor. I don't know what information you gave to get that fatwa. I want to know what you briefed that person, because if you want to try to get a fatwa that restraint is haram, then I need to talk to that person in Egypt who gave that fatwa, because to see what you briefed him. Because they say garbage in, garbage out. Depending on what you brief the person, that'll give you the fatwa that you want. So he didn't give me that. And so where everything went sour was in February, March 2021. When I told Mahmoud in a meeting, and Yusuf Suleiman was there, and Mahmoud can't deny it, because that's when everything turned sour. That was a critical moment when Mahmoud realized that, you know what, I'm dead in the water now, and Dr. Adam is going to hold me to it. I said, Mahmoud, you owe ITV between 5 to 6 million rand because of the restraint issue. You need to pay it back. He says, are you accusing me of theft? I said, no, I didn't accuse you of theft. But basically, if I have to say it bluntly, that is fraudulent misrepresentation. He received 6 million rand more, and now he's refusing to do that. Now he's got an agenda of trying to remove me so that I must waive that 6 million rand. Can I tell you, I don't have a mandate to do that. You know why? Because that 6 million rand doesn't belong to me. It belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ultimately. So I don't have a right. It belongs to the community. ITV is not a waqf, but it's controlled by a waqf. So I don't have a right. And if I had one skeleton in my closet, I would have gladly accepted the deal. I don't accept deals. I don't work on that basis. So I challenge Mahmoud that, and I got a paper trail to show he's dishonest. I'm saying it on air. He must now defend his integrity. I'm challenging him to a public debate. On a series of debates, on any public media, I want all the media in South Africa to be there. I want it recorded. I want the terms and conditions to be there. Every single word is like a sworn affidavit. I challenge him to a public debate. I've challenged other people. I've challenged Maulana Ragi. I've challenged Farad Umar. I've challenged Harun Kala. Harun Kala is, in my opinion, also part of the network that wants to take control of this organization. I've challenged Harun Kala. I challenged Yusuf Abramji. I've challenged other people because there's a network of people who want to get control. So I'm challenging all of them one by one. I won't handle all 10 in one debate. I challenge one by one. First one, whoever comes. And I challenge the guy in the Sunday Times because I know he's a good friend of Yusuf Abramji. There's networks of influence that want to try to control ITV. You know how I can stand up against all of them? Very simple. The most powerful weapon in the world is truth. If I stand for truth, I can bring all of them, 1,000 of them, and I will destroy one of them one by one. And I'm challenging all of them to a debate. And if they don't accept the debate, then let the public decide who's right and who's wrong. I challenge Harun Kala because, in my opinion, Harun Kala was in control of Sauk. He's upset with me because I blamed him for that there's no non-profit Hajj. He's upset with me. Akhtar Token is upset with me because I told them in public, I tried for 5 years to change Sauk so that it becomes a non-profit. It's there for making affordable Hajj and non-profit Hajj. They're upset with me. I tried 5 years, not myself alone, various other organizations. And we found that Sauk was captured and controlled by two people, Harun Kala and Akhtar Token. They're one or two man organizations were controlling Sauk. Travel agents control. So it's a bigger thing. This thing of trying to take over control of organizations is something that must come to a stop, and I'm going to just expose them. So I challenge all of these people I mentioned, and the guy who wrote the Sunday Times article, I challenge all of them separately, individually, separately, on public media. You agree on terms and conditions, and let's have it live. Let the whole world see whatever it is. They won't accept this challenge. I issue it now, and it's open-ended.
Okay, just one further point and one final point, and obviously we've overrun with time quite a bit, Dr. Adam. Just with all these issues that have been playing out for a long time now, and it does appear, you mentioned about Mahmoud Abu Zaid and things that have been going on and festering. Could this have been averted? Could you not take action sooner, so that it didn't get to this stage?
No, because can I tell you something? When people have an agenda, firstly, let me tell you what has happened. Farad Umar stole 7.5 million rand, right? So that's theft. I'm saying it bluntly, right? He must challenge himself. Now, what he wants to do is that he's working with Harun Kala and Ragi to steal the whole organization. So, like, you steal money from the bank, and the way to avoid being responsible for that, you want to steal the entire bank. Now, you tell me what could I have done differently to fight against Ragi, Harun Kala and his network, Farad Umar, and all of their organizations that work in concert with him. You tell me how could I have done it differently. You give me
Yes.
the answer. I'm asking the public to tell me how should I have done it differently. I should have, yes, I could have done this, what I'm doing public now. I should have done it a year ago. I shouldn't have been silent. Yes, that I could have done a year earlier. When the concerted effort started. 5 years ago, when Farad Umar, I realized he had an agenda to take over control of DSTV. What did I do? I put in place restraint because I've got it in my other organizations. Mahmoud Abu Zaid, I put in place the restraint. So I've got protective measures. They can't do anything to me. But now when I'm going public, you know what's going to happen? The guys who are involved in this, because they're jointly and severally liable for corruption, and what they're doing is acts of malfeasance. Now it's suddenly criminal conduct. Can I tell you what they're going to do? They're going to hide away and not know where they can hide under a rock. Or they're going to try to put a bullet in my head. But less than putting a bullet in my head, I'm challenging them, and I've challenged them before. They will not accept my challenge. I'm happy if they accept it. So you going back to ask me what I'm doing? Yes, I should have gone. I shouldn't have kept silent because at the end of the day, you don't want to inverted commas wash your dirty linen in public. But when it comes to the extent that they tell me Adam Gate, who the hell can tell me Adam Gate? If they know who Adam is and if they know who I am, then they'll realize what type of person I am. I stand for truth. I stand for justice. I challenge anybody to say one word otherwise. I want them on television and I want them to sign a sworn affidavit. Otherwise, shut up and don't ever talk again. Don't whisper in the wind. Every single social media posting, we can trace it back to where it is. So I challenge every person who's posting something and reposting. Don't repost because what you're doing is fitna. You're reposting without verifying the facts. Come to me, I'll answer your facts. I'll answer your questions. If somebody says something, ask him to sign a sworn affidavit. Ragi put a sworn affidavit. I replied 175 pages. I'll put it in the public domain again. I don't know if he's proceeding with the case. Ragi, as far as I'm concerned, has got a case to answer. He must answer to the Jamiyat. I don't mind if the Jamiyat and various independent, a panel of 10 judges must be the panelists on this thing. That's not a small matter. We need a live, we essentially need a Truth and Reconciliation Commission, not only on ITV, but on all these corrupt organizations that feel they can just control everything. I challenge them. And I give them 30 days to accept the challenge, or 7 days. Let's make it 7 days. I've challenged them a year ago. But let's put a time, let's put an ultimatum. I'm giving them till next week, Friday, to accept my challenge. Otherwise, I call them all cowards. And I say they're liars. Because if they don't accept my challenge to be on television, because I can't leave it open-ended, I'm giving them 7 days till next week, Friday. Why should I wait till Friday? If they're standing for truth, let's give them this Friday. I'm giving them 48 hours to accept my challenge. I will renew it if necessary, subject to terms and conditions. I'm issuing a challenge to all the people. And this video of yours, let it go viral. You can have, and you can be one of the people that can broadcast this, but everybody can broadcast it live. I'm issuing a challenge to a public debate to every single person who says anything about me. Put it in writing and then put my character on the line. You investigate me in public. I'm opening myself to a public trial, but before you do that, put it in writing and I will answer every single question of yours.
Well, Dr. Adam, yes, obviously, I think you've obviously you've issued this challenge out. You've mentioned the individuals as well, but unfortunately, time has basically run out, and I know that we can go on for the next hour as well. But we say jazakallah to you, shukran for coming on, and also we need to apologize to our listeners that listen. We've run over time as well, but I think it was necessary having this discussion with you. And let's see what comes out of it. Let's hope the sanity prevails. And at the end of the day, what is best for all of us, let Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, decide, be the ultimate judge of all our actions and whatever we have done. But for now, we say Jazakallah, shukran to you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam. Jazakallah.
Well, that brings us to the end of the broadcast. And once again, we must apologize for overrunning by close on to 20 minutes. But for myself and the rest of the team, all the best to you, inshallah. Please take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.